Good afternoon, Russ Boy here. Hope you're all well on this fine Sunday afternoon. And not a cloud in the sky, so been a good morning so far. Been out for a long walk, got my steps in, and it's an afternoon working, but I couldn't miss the chance to speak to you as ever. And today talk about food portions. We're summing up the week now. Been talking to you all week about food and various ways to eat and consume and cook and plan and prep and knowing what to eat. But there's one important question we've not covered so far, which is what portion size? How big should you make your plate of food? How small should you make your plate of food? How many carbs should you have? How much fat? How much protein? How much veg? And it really depends on what sort of regime you're following. But the important thing here, why I want to talk about it, is whatever regime you follow, it's always difficult. It can be difficult sometimes to know how big a piece of chicken is okay, or what size steak is okay if you're out eating, or how much rice is okay, and all those sort of questions, and you're not really sure. So the first thing is to consider how you make up your plate of food, and also perhaps what plate you use. I'm going to open the window, it's boiling in here. So what size plate you use. An obvious starting point is to think about the size plate you use, and perhaps you're using too big a plate. Plates have got bigger and bigger over the years to make things a bit more fancy, and you can set them up nicely like those posh restaurants do. However, we've just got into the habit of filling our plates. So if you revert to what is a normal size, what I used to eat on when I was growing up dinner plate, it's probably half to 2/3 the size of current plates. So that could be a reason we're overeating. So I would first of all find a smaller plate, because if it's actually not there, if you're not eating it, if you can't eat it because it's not on the plate, then you're not going to eat it. Make sense? So the first thing is think about the size of plate you're using and whether that is affecting your potential overeating. Then the next thing is to, when you are out and about and you haven't got scales to hand because you're tracking calories or you're just being careful when weighing your foods, how do you know roughly what is the right portion size? Well, it's about using your hand, because obviously our hands are in relation to the size of our body. We won't have little hands, big bodies, or big hands and small bodies. It's in relation. So you use the hand to size your food. So the first thing is proteins. A piece of protein should be roughly the size of your palm. So if you're having a steak which is the size of your hand, you're probably eating twice as much as your body requires in that meal. Likewise, a piece of fat, a measurement of fat, would be the size of your thumb. So a size of your thumb is roughly about, I don't know, teaspoon to tablespoon, I would say. So you want to consider the size of your thumb in relation to how much fat you have in your meal. A little bit hard to manage, especially if you're eating out, but you get a rough idea, so you know how much olive oil and stuff you should be throwing onto your salad, or how little you should be. Then it comes to carbs. And carbs is very simple. It's very similar to veg. It's a fistful. A fistful of carbs will see you right. So roughly, if you can imagine that as your fistful of pasta or veg, and think about it realistically, most of us would be eating more than a fistful of pasta if we go out to eat. So again, gives you an understanding of perhaps what you should be eating when you're not next to a set of scales. And the last one is veggies, and you can put a fistful or a handful of veggies. Afternoon, Phil, good to see you, mate. You can use that shape as your veggies, but that's a minimum, surely. And when I say veggies, I'm talking about good veggies, your greener the better type veggies. I'm not talking about salady sort of stuff. I'm talking about proper broccoli and kales and spinach and Brussels and runner beans and cauliflower, all those good cruciferous veggies. So for those, that's one portion, but that's a minimum. Fill your plate. So if you look at your plate, half of it generally, or two-thirds, half I think is a fair starting point, should be veggies, salad stroke veggies. I will then say the other 2/4 will be made up with some protein, and the last bit is fat stroke carbs. And if you size your plate that way, you will never go far wrong. Now, it's not as good as weighing things, it's not as good as measuring, that's for sure, but this is when you're not near a set of scales, when you just want to throw something on a plate because you're in a nice restaurant, or you get a nice healthy takeaway, and you don't want to overeat. And it just gets you in the mindset you're always considering your portion sizes. So portion sizes are key. It's all very well just eating protein and veggies. And you're going to struggle to overeat that, admittedly. But if every time you eat protein you have a size like that, when it should be just that, just your palm, you're overeating. More protein means more calories, and more calories can potentially put you over your calories for the day, even if you're not counting calories. So portion sizes are key. Think about how you place them on the plate. Think about the size of the plate. Think about the hand and how in relation to the portion sizes you're having, and just be wary and mindful when you're eating your lovely food, your lovely tasty food, that perhaps you're not overeating. That aside, go enjoy it. Enjoy your Sundays. Eat well. Be happy. And next week I'll talk to you about something completely different. We've done food all week, so next week we'll revert to another topic. But for now, have a Phil saying, as a ballpark guesstimate, that sounds very sensible, mate. Thank you. It is only ballpark, Phil, but it's a great starting point. I would always advocate actually weighing things, but scales aren't always easy to hand. And if you're not overly bothered about your calorie intake, and it's just a be mindful, then use your hand as a great measuring guide. For now, guys, have a great Sunday. Enjoy your day. Enjoy this lovely weather while it lasts. I believe we have rain again tomorrow. Hey ho, it's England. For now, I wish you good day. I'll speak to you all soon. Russ Boy out.